All right, Nat, well, one game to go. Opportunity to avoid the wooden spoon if you get victory tomorrow over Melbourne victory. How much of a boost was the Adelaide win during the week?
Yeah, it was massive. When you're away for 5 or 6 days and kind of the heartbreak of the Newcastle game, to then up a performance and get the win against Adelaide, our first points against them. So, and like in Adelaide, it was such a good vibe before the game even. Everyone just brushed themselves off and was like, we can still do this. Like, we've made it harder for ourselves, but it's kind of still in our hands slightly. So yeah, it was massive for us.
So has the messaging been around not finishing bottom? Has that been specifically used as motivation heading into tomorrow?
We haven't really spoke about it, to be honest. It was something that was used a lot for the Perth and the Newcastle game, and maybe that added a little bit of unnecessary pressure. I'm not sure, something that we'll review, but like the messaging before Adelaide was, we have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So that's kind of our messaging. Victory, they've got to win tomorrow as well. So I think it's going to be a pretty great game. We're happy with how we're playing at home, so we want to keep that up. We want to finish on a high, and if that means getting off bottom of the league, then that's the ideal situation for us.
So you've had 6 players named in the Football Ferns squad, which I think get off on Sunday, so they don't get much of a break. But just want to ask about a couple of them. Millie Clegg, how much pride do you take in the development she's shown with you that's allowed her to be in the Ferns frame?
Yeah, I think Millie's amazing. She's obviously been somebody that everyone's talked about all season, and we've been pretty, vocal on us being patient, and she will get her chance, she will get her shot, and she has earned it completely. Not that she hadn't before, but she's had more consistent performances. She has been in and out of the team, but has made impact when she's come on, and then you get a game like we did out of her against Adelaide, which happened to be the day that she got announced as well in the squad. So she takes things on like that on her shoulders. She's super, super mature, so we are really excited to see how she gets on, and thoroughly deserves her chance.
So patience then, if you're Yitka, would you take her to the World Cup?
That's a great question. I think she's got to see how she gets on in the environment. What we do here is not too dissimilar to the Ferns, kind of how we set up trainings, our messaging, but the Ferns is different. It's a different step up. She's playing with players that play in the WSL and the NWSL. She's playing against players that are like that too. So her next step now is finding her way in that environment, and if she does well, then why not? She's the future, so why not?
All right, just last from me is Michaela Foster, who is also in this squad, having been a sort of an addition last time. She's in the full squad.
Yeah.
A player who a year ago wasn't even a professional player. You know? What have you seen from her that's impressed you the most?
She is, she's incredible. She is the epitome of high performance and leadership, and she just gets her head down. She is this quiet leader that just does everything to the highest standard. She is very appreciative of everything. She's often saying like thanks to us for giving her a shot, and we're like, no, thank you for your left and your right foot. So yeah, she's proven her worth. She's proven that there's players playing in this country that can play at this level, and I think that she's going to be a Fern again for a really, really long time. She could be a bit of a difference maker for this team heading into a World Cup. So again, I hope she does what she did in Hamilton and Auckland, does her thing, shows her professionalism, shows how good she is on the field. She's had an amazing season with us, and I'm sure it will continue.
On Millie, what a way to mark her Football Ferns call up, getting a couple of goals to win the game. I mean, that must be a pretty awesome day for her. Yeah, it was great. Like, and that's when you look at kind of the character. There was lots of talk about her making the Ferns. There's been lots of talk about her this season. And then that kind of gets announced. Obviously, she's had time to digest it beforehand. But, with social media and people messaging, it can become overwhelming. But she just went on and was like, yeah, this is what I do. I score goals. And that's her messaging to us all the time. Like, you need goals? I'll score your goals.
and that's what she did. And yeah, super, super pleasing. Took her goals really well.
Yeah, and what a way for Emma Main to announce herself on the ALeague women's stage with setting up that goal. I mean, I guess she's had to wait for a chance with Alyssa being ruled out for the season, but is she someone who may get another run tomorrow based on the way she performed against Adelaide?
Yeah, I think offers us something a little bit different. She is super composed on the ball, and I think that, again, the occasion of kind of making her debut didn't overwhelm her. She fits in with the team. Like, we were obviously away for 5 or 6 days and she was with us, and it was like she'd always been there. So yeah, she's definitely in the conversation to continue in the 16. We need goals. You need goals to win games. We need goals to beat victory, and she's somebody that possibly we feel can bring on and either score or create like she did on Tuesday.
Yeah, and Candy had her solid debut as well. What are you thinking in terms of goalkeeper? Was that a chance to give her a game? Will you revert back to Bree for this one? Or?
Yeah, I think, again, it's a bit of a conversation. I think Candy had a great debut. There was something that we talked about throughout the season, that we wanted to make sure that, especially as soon as we knew that Lily was not going to be taking the field, that, players are also rewarded for their commitment to this team. Like, it's hard being the goalkeeper that's on the bench and having to support Bree and support the team. So we were really, really pleased that she got her opportunity for her debut, and ultimately we'll kind of decide what we want to do. The team will get announced today to the players, and yeah, it's a little bit of a battle between them, but I look at Bree and how she's developed throughout the season, from that first game to kind of now, and she's really kind of put her stamp on that position as our, I suppose, number one goalkeeper. So I'm really, really pleased with what Candy did though.
Yeah, and I'm sure you probably don't want to poke the bear, but is there any motivation in terms of denying the defending champions a spot in the top 4?
I mean, that's always a nice thing in football, isn't it? If you can spoil someone's party. But our messaging for Adelaide was it's us, it's back to basics, bring it back to us. And that's what we'll do this weekend. If that means we spoil their party, we spoil their party and we'll have our own. But we're fully motivated to finish the season strong.
There's been, for the last month, probably even longer, there's been so much focus on whether you're going to avoid the spoon or not. Have you seen enough this season, like little steps forward, to judge it as a success anyway, regardless of the result tomorrow?
I think yes. People may disagree because it's a results-based business. The league doesn't have relegation, which does afford you a little bit of patience, I believe, but the goal was always to not finish bottom, and that has to ultimately be still our aim. If I look at the beginning of the season, even last season, and the kind of football we've tried to produce has taken a little time, but I believe that when you look at our performances, whilst they haven't always had results, the performances we've been really pleased with. Some individual performances as well and individual development. I look at Chloe Knott. We call her Chloe De Bruyne. Like, she was a 9 last year pressing, and now she's basically pulling the strings in the middle of the park. Like, I look at the individual development of somebody like that, and Mickey Foster, Millie Clegg, like a whole raft of people. Marisa couldn't get many games last season for City. Obviously they're in a different level of the league to us, but she's been outrageously good at the back for us. So I look at like the core of the squad and what football we've managed to produce, and I do see that as success, and I do see that as something that is really exciting to build on. Put all of that possession, all of the kind of times we've attacked, the numbers of times we've got in the box into goals, and we're having a very, very different conversation today. So that has to be like the main focus for off-season.
I'm going to show my ignorance here, but how many of these players have re-signed? Do you want them to be the core of what happens next year, or is it like, let's try again?
So 2 were on 2-year deals, so Alyssa and Chloe. So they're the only ones currently signed through to next season.
I think that there's a really strong core group of players here that deserve to be re-signed.
Do they want to go again as well?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had some really good conversations. The players have really enjoyed the season. They obviously love being here, they love being at home. They can, whilst it was hard at the start, they can see what we're trying to do, what we're trying to achieve, the football and the brand of football we're trying to play, and they want to be part of it and they want to see it be successful. So hopefully there's a lot of them that get that chance to re-sign for the next season or two.
And just lastly for me, I mean, I don't know if it's even a thing in New Zealand, but like in Australia you have Mad Monday after the season, but half the team's going to be off in Turkey, so what are you going to do about that?
Mad Saturday?
Mad Saturday. Mad Big Saturday night.
We've got our kind of a bit of a club event after the game on Saturday, so that'll be fun, and then I'm sure the girls will go and enjoy themselves.